That's Life Unlimited.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Good morning, I'm Bree Driscoll, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. President-elect Donald Trump meeting with President Joe Biden today to discuss the transfer of power. Trump will also meet with House Speaker Mike Johnson as the House prepares to vote behind closed doors for GOP leadership. Trump is also continuing to build his second-term team, including Fox News host and Army veteran Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary, former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe to lead the CIA. Trump says Elon Musk will work together with Vivek Ramaswamy to lead a new Department of Government Efficiency. The New York Times is reporting special counsel Jack Smith is expected to step down from his job before Trump takes office. The prosecutor has investigated and charged Trump over his handling of classified documents and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump has promised to fire Smith within 2 seconds of being sworn in as president. Other members of Smith's team are expected to step down as well. 12 seats in the House of Representatives are yet to be called right now. Republicans have secured 216 seats, needing just 2 more for majority. Races in California, Nevada, and Alaska's lone representative remain undecided. Wind and dry weather contributing to wildfires and red flag warnings across New York and New Jersey. Those are your headlines. Now here's a look at your weather on the ones.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Mel Carpenter. Cool and sunny across the eastern half of the U.S. We're seeing some of the coolest air of the fall season working its way in the northeast. We'll be in the upper 40s this afternoon in New York, upper 50s down through the Carolinas, and we have some active weather working its way across the central plains as the frontal system begins to bring some more much-needed rainfall to the central U.S. Doesn't look like much for now, but it is getting going, and we're going to see some significant rainfall totals in some areas that need it most. We'll talk about that and much more coming up in 10 minutes on your Weather on the Ones.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bree Driscoll, and thanks so much for joining us here on Spectrum News. Today is Wednesday, November 13th. Today, President-elect Donald Trump is meeting with President Joe Biden at the White House as Trump's new administration quickly takes shape. He's picked Fox News host Pete Hegseth to serve as the country's Secretary of Defense and John Ratcliffe to lead the Central Intelligence Agency. Trump also tapping South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to serve as the Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. Trump says he'll create a new Department of Government Efficiency, which will be led by businessmen Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Musk took to X, saying all actions of the department will be posted online for maximum transparency. Spectrum's Taylor Popolars joins us now from the White House. Taylor, what more do we know about today's meeting?
Well, Bree, we know this is a normal tradition that actually did not take place 4 years ago when Trump was in office as president. He declined to let then President-elect Joe Biden come here after his win in November 2020 because Trump was basically claiming that the election had been stolen from him. So we haven't seen this happen in a while, but in previous administrations, this was commonplace that the current president welcomes in the president-elect and they sit in the Oval Office, they chat for a little bit before the cameras and then in private, and it's kind of a signal that the peaceful transfer of power will take place come January. So we expect that to happen here at the White House behind me. It's scheduled to start at 11 a.m. We'll have to see if they stick to that schedule. But the former president and now President-elect Trump, he's traveling up here from Florida. I was able to confirm with a source from his team that the businessman Elon Musk is traveling with Trump today. We don't expect Musk to come here to the White House, but he's going to go with Trump to a meeting with House Republicans not too far from here in Washington. So we'll be waiting to see if we hear from Trump. There's microphones set up behind me here. We'll be interested to see if he comes out. Obviously, he spent 4 years in this White House, and he hasn't been back since he left office in January 2021. So that's what we'll be monitoring. And the Biden White House tells us they're doing this because it's tradition. President Biden is obviously no fan of President-elect Trump, but he's an institutionalist, and he wants to honor the tradition that wasn't honored for him 4 years ago.
All right, Taylor Popolars, thank you very much. Trump's visit to Washington coming as his second administration continues to take shape. Spectrum's Angie Gonzalez continues our team coverage.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to name those who've stood beside him to prominent posts in his administration. Trump stunning some at the Pentagon with his nomination for Defense Secretary, selecting Fox News host Pete Hegseth to succeed Lloyd Austin.
Pete Hegseth obviously is a decorated war veteran, 2 Bronze Stars, Army Commendation Medals, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, has been heavily involved in military affairs as well as veterans issues.
Others in Washington are expressing concerns about Hegseth's qualifications to lead the world's largest and most powerful military.
He does not seem to have any specific experience on defense policy or DoD policy, and that's concerning.
Trump also making his pick to lead the Department of Homeland Security official Tuesday night. If confirmed by the GOP-led Senate, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem would manage DHS, which oversees various other agencies, including U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Secret Service. Trump's announced his selection for U.S. Ambassador to Israel as well, picking former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. His daughter, the state's current governor, talked about her father's nomination.
There is probably a little bit of bias, but there's no one who will do a better job in this role. Congratulations, Dad. We're all very proud of you.
At Trump's direction, Tesla founder Elon Musk will now lead a new Department of Government Efficiency. Joining Musk in the formation of the new department will be entrepreneur and Trump surrogate Vivek Ramaswamy. The announcement lacks a lot of detail on how the new office will operate, but Trump said the purpose of the department is to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies.
Today, the president-elect is back in Washington for the first time since winning re-election. He's meeting with Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill and speaking with President Joe Biden at the White House. That meeting is part of a transition process that did not happen in 2020. In Washington, Angie Gonzalez, Spectrum News.
A developing story. According to a New York Times report, Jack Smith plans to resign before Donald Trump takes office in January, denying the president-elect the chance to fire him. Smith is the special counsel who pursued 2 federal prosecutions against Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election and hoarding classified documents. Those familiar with his plans told the Times Smith plans to finish his work and step down along with other members of his team. Smith's goal is to not leave any significant part of his work for others to complete and to get ahead of Trump's promise to fire him within, quote, 2 seconds of being sworn in. Trump's victory meant the end of the federal cases since the Justice Department policy has long held that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted for crimes. New this morning, the Labor Department says inflation rose by 2.6% in October compared to last year. The Consumer Price Index, a broad measure of how much everyday goods cost, rose 0.2%. It was an uptick from September when the Federal Reserve began cutting interest rates amid cooling prices and a weaker labor market. The slight rise signals the Fed's efforts to limit inflation to a 2% annual rate might not be enough over the next few months. Fire crews are increasingly containing fires on both the east and west coasts of the country. The Northeast is still dealing with hazardous conditions, but fires in New York and New Jersey are now 30% contained. In New York, an 18-year-old park ranger died while battling the fire in Sterling Forest. This as wildfires in Ventura County, California are now more than 50% contained. Coming up on this morning's Political Buzz, we'll have reaction after the president-elect unveiled several new appointees for his incoming administration, plus analysis ahead of the House GOP leadership vote later today.